Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a small cleaner with another video for you. I hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. I had a very good one myself. The past month has been pretty crazy. We've been dealing with the aftermath of the midterm elections and pretty much some shady stuff going on in Broward County. But that's all said and done. Brenda Sipes is no more, and Republicans hold the Senate. That's pretty much the main thing. Democrats can have the House. They can have it. They can use their power now and make themselves look like idiots. But let's move on to the topics of the day. First off, if you can see it here, we're going to start off this video with climate change. Is the climate changing? Is it real? Well, yes, you'd have to be an idiot not to realize that the climate is changing and is always changing. It's just those in power, and especially those on the left, want to convince you that it is all our fault, which is clearly not the case. Now, there has been a new report that has been released by the government, pretty much slamming human beings and directly blaming us for what is to come, and if we don't do anything soon to change it, we're all going to pretty much lose a ton of money and a bunch of us are going to die. This report is actually quite hilarious. It's fear-mongering dialed up to 100. Just here, this is what I have to tell you. If you're going to read this report, or if you're going to read any articles talking about this report, forget any of the numbers that they tell you. Forget them. Ignore every single stat, every single number that they push in front of your face, and any kind of narrative that they're pushing to make you be shameful about what you've done, and be fearful about what's to come. And I'll tell you why. You have to take a look at how they have figured out this data. You have to take a look at how they have corroborated and correlated this data, and where their presumptions come from. All this data is based on the assumption that nothing changes in 80 years. And then that's another caveat. At the end of throughout this report, they say all this death and destruction will happen by 2100, or will happen by the end of the century. So 80 years. For example, 10% of America's economy will be lost. 10% of the GDP wiped away by 2100. Losing 10% over 80 years? That doesn't sound too bad. That's a gradual decline, but how many times is it going to expand in that 80 years? See, who's to say that nothing? Who's to say that something doesn't happen that changes the economy drastically, that increases the rate of production, increases the rate of growth exponentially, or even just doubles it from what we have now to, like, let's say 7%, from 3.5 to 7. That completely throws those economic statistics out the window. Let's look at another thing here. Nothing changes. So let's say no technological advances. So from now till the end of the century, there are no other advancements in technology when it comes to pollution reduction, transportation, like efficiency, fossil fuel use efficiency. It's the ideas are endless on what can be achieved, what can be invented to ease up the use of fossil fuels, ease up our impact on the environment through normal channels of free market and enterprise, rather than government regulation and control. Okay? So how can you take any of this report seriously, which is pretty much just fear-mongering dialed up to, like I said, 100, because it's running on the pretense that all of this data is assumedly correct because nothing else changes. We pretty much stop any advancement and live in a bubble for the next 80 years as a society, as a global society, or whatever, and this is what could happen. And even the numbers they say are coulds and might be's. They aren't concrete. So trying to take this and put it into reality is not going to work, because just like climate is always changing, technology, society, culture is always changing. Okay? So this is pretty much a snapshot. They're trying to take a snapshot in time and project it across 80 years. That's not going to work. So these numbers are faulty. Don't take this report seriously, because all it is just another pretty much cash grab, trying to get the governments to, oh my God, pass legislation and dump millions and billions and trillions of dollars into this crap. No, we should just invest in clean technology. I mean, we're already doing that. Let's just continue doing that. What's the problem here? We don't need to have the governments get on everybody's backs about this. We can do it people can do it themselves. We don't need the fear-mongering of pretty much the authoritarians to pretty much shame us and corral us into doing what they want us to do. Because if you see what they want to implement to restrict, economies and stuff, some places they want to get rid of fossil fuels. Look at what's happening in France right now. People are rioting in the streets because Macron has introduced a gas tax, which raises the prices of gas, because they're trying to, wean and force people out of using fossil fuels, and then slowly, pretty much, they want to, in the next 15 years, ban gas combustion engines and go to hybrid and electric. So they're trying to raise prices and force people to, not want to use oil anymore. And that's causing riots. You know how much damage that will cause to an economy? So there's probably going to be more cons than pros if government regulation steps in and tries to save us from ourselves in climate change. So we have more pressing issues to deal with. As a matter of fact, we have pressing issues that are happening as of right now. Down at the U.S. border between Mexico and right around Tijuana, yesterday there was a massive rush across the border. Massive rush. Hundreds of people were trying to run their way into America. This is an invasion, everybody. And of course, Jim Acosta a couple weeks ago said to the president, in that famous exchange between both of them, which resulted in him losing his press pass. Too bad it wasn't permanently. But he said, "Oh, they're not going to violate our border. They're not going to try to hop fences and jump past barricades." Well, hey Jim, take a look at this. Let me just turn the volume down. Yeah, but this, without the volume, it's just, you can hear people screaming and chanting, "Yes, we can, yes, we can." I don't want to have the volume up or you'd hear an echo. But these people are rushing the border. This is in Tijuana. This happened yesterday, November 25th. Look at them. Look at them flooding across there. Does that not look that? Oh yeah, these are peaceful. These are peaceful, law-abiding migrants. They're not trying to hop the fence and get in illegally, are they? No, they're good, well-adjusted people. Whoop, let me just close that. But they already violated the Guatemalan border. They violated the Mexican border, Mexican sovereignty. Why would we think that they would respect our border and come in legally? It makes no sense. And if they have a propensity to just violate laws on their way in, who's to say once they're in here they're not going to just continue violating laws? Maybe they'll start drinking and driving. Maybe they'll start beating their wives. Maybe they'll start robbing stores. I don't know, and I'm not saying that that's everybody. Because yes, I'm sure that there are just average people who want to come, but why would you tack yourself on to the end of a caravan which is getting such bad press? The few bad apples in there are ruining it for you. So if you want to come in illegally, just go to U.S. consulate in your country and claim for asylum or something like that. You can do it there. You don't have to come to the U.S. border to claim for asylum. You can go to any U.S. consulate in any country that we have one, because those places are sovereign U.S. territory. It's considered a little piece of America in another country. So go there and claim for asylum. Go there and put up just a natural process to legally. You can actually also pay if you're not an asylum seeker. You can if you got some money, you can front that and you can pay and you can sponsor yourself, or you can maybe contact somebody in America who is a friend of yours. They can sponsor you. There's many different options of how to come in, but this is not one of them, and this should not be done. But of course, that kind of opinion is considered wrong thinking no to the people like Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg, the guys on Facebook and Twitter, and they will just, consider that hate speech and ban you. And that's an issue. And that slides into my final thought of the day, which is getting the big tech companies to be regulated. And the reason why I have Will Chamberlain up here to be seen is because this man right here is on the forefront of pushing that narrative, because we have an issue right now with conservatives and censorship. It's not that conservatives are for censorship in the sense that they want it. They're pretty much for censorship in the sense that they are trying to fight against it. You have people like Ben Shapiro saying, "Oh, Jack Dorsey, you're destroying your company by banning people." No, the argument you should be having is, don't ban people. You're violating our freedom of speech, because you, sir, yourself, Jack Dorsey, have said that Twitter is a public platform and everybody is allowed to say their mind. So if I'm allowed to speak my own 2 cents in public, in reality, why can't I say it in public on the digital platform? It's the same thing. So you are pretty much just deciding at random who to ban, and the vast majority of it is conservatism. So instead of just sitting around saying, "Oh, your company is going to go down and there's going to be a free market to replace you," okay, well, who's going to do that? Who's going to put the money in? I don't see that happening. So it's time to actually use government authority, government power. Ooh, man, that's taboo, isn't it? Oh, we're a bunch of authoritarians now, aren't we? Because we want to use some government power to stop certain companies from violating the public's rights. Government power is not a bad thing when it's used justifiably, especially when you have evidence to prove that what you're going to legislate for is actually happening. It's been ramping up, especially since 2016, the number of people who have just been systematically deplatformed and unpersoned to the point where it's now an issue that we see will not die down, because we thought it was just a political thing for 2016 and for Trump, because, they hate Trump. But no, this will actually continue well past Trump if it's allowed. I mean, these corporations will continue to get away with what they're doing if you allow them to do so. Like this whole Koch brother mentality of like, oh, they're big business and you shouldn't regulate them, and there's like more cons and pros when you regulate and stuff, and you should just let big business do what they want. Of course, the Koch brothers would say that, because they're big business, they're massive corporations. Of course, they're going to give you advice by saying let them do whatever they want. So it's time to get the attention of the president, get the attention of congressmen and senators who can actually do something about this, push forward with regulations to curb the assault on people's freedom of speech. It's time to be done. And it's not authoritarianism. That is not overstepping bounds. We're actually just defending people's rights, defending the Constitution through regulation. That's different than going after like the oil industry or something. I don't know where I was going with that, but that's what's happening. We need to have regulation to actually uphold people's rights. And that is when government power, the use of government power, is justifiable. So yeah, government isn't all bad. But Will Chamberlain, definitely give him a follow on Twitter. Check out his Periscopes. They're very informative, very insightful. Follow him on Periscope too. definitely get his updates, because he does pretty much Periscope on the daily, and he's very active on Twitter. So please give Will a follow, and I think I'm going to wrap this up here. So everybody, don't listen to this climate change report. Just fear-mongering. We have an issue on the southern border. Jim Acosta pretty much straight up said, oh, they're not going to violate our borders. 3 weeks later, they're violating our borders. I'm sorry, what's the narrative, Jim? Please, do tell. And then finally, some of us aren't... So their narrative is okay, but if we try to push our narrative based on facts and evidence, no, we're banned because we're hateful. So we need to regulate big tech. We need to get these companies in check. So this is a swamp cleaner. I know I haven't been doing too many videos, but it was a holiday season's coming up. I am getting busier at work and in private life, you know, shopping, going out, friends, family reunions, stuff like that. So I'll try to get a couple more videos done in December. Definitely have one for Christmas and New Year's. But I will just leave it there. Hope you guys have a great day. Follow me also at Twitter. Let me just go to my main screen. Follow me at the Swamp Cleaner on Twitter. Remember to subscribe if you like these videos. And I'm also on minds.com too. So check me out there as well. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.